Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Jay Wakefield and I got this video request from the Nostalgia Mall. Now, as some of you may or may not know, RetroFest is actually an ongoing thing now. It's actually happening. And we had our first session, at the time of recording, we had our first session 3 days ago. And it went quite well, actually. And people played the PCs as much as I've played the consoles. And, well, I've had a request from the Nostalgia Mall to do basically a summary of the PCs here at RetroFest. And, you know, kind of an update on how they're all set up and what have you. So, I thought that I would do that for you today. So, what do we have here? Well, we have the Dell Dimension 4100. This is from my own personal collection. I donated it. And this machine, it's actually playing the domain server. And what it is, we have a Windows 2000 server with an Active Directory domain. And this, it has a couple of duties that it fulfills. It's a DHCP server because none of these machines are connected to our main network, which is on the internet. So this is its own separate network, completely away from the net. Got a wee switch there, and so because it's not on the main network, it needs IP address assignment. So this computer will hand out IP addresses. It also acts as a time server, NTP, so it keeps all the computers right, which is good. It has it shares files as well, so it makes it easier for me to set up other machines without having to mess about with flash drives or CD-ROMs or zip disks. So yeah, it's pretty good. So this machine, it can game as well, not as much as the other machines, but there are certain games that I can play with it. Worms World Party will play if it was installed. I'm not sure Unreal is installed on this machine. But there are shortcuts to it anyway because I've installed it on other machines. And that's a beautiful thing about roaming profiles. But yeah, we do have Grand Theft Auto installed, so I can kind of show you that running in the way that I can't show you it running at all. Not many games on here that I can show without the CD-ROM. I probably could do with getting it, but yeah, I've got a few programs on here. So what I thought I would do is I would run a benchmark. Correction, I can't do a benchmark. So what does this machine do then if it can't play many games? Well, it quite literally will sit and stay switched on for as long as I need RetroFest, the RetroFest server, or any of the machines. I mean, it does need to be switched on for any of these machines to properly work. I'll get into that a bit later. But this is, but it does do all the server stuff. Like I said, some games can be played on it, but unfortunately, with this being the server, I don't think it very much likes you to log in as a non-admin. So if I try and log in using the RetroFest account, actually no, that's an out-and-out lie. I did enable that, and of course on this machine it's not going to use the wallpaper because it's on RetroFest. It's the wallpaper should be set to C:/Windows/RetroFest.bmp, and of course Windows 2000 installs itself to the WinNT directory. But apart from that, yeah, I could potentially let other people use this machine if I wanted to. So as it turns out, not necessarily the best idea if I was to go about it that way. Please insert the Diablo CD. That works, kind of, or not. Probably not the best of idea to just let people go on play on the server. So the first client machine is the Mesh. Now this system, it has a Pentium 2 processor, clocked at 300 MHz. I believe 64 megs of RAM, 30 gig hard drive. It's got a DVD-ROM drive, which is the wrong colour, zip drive, 1.44 meg floppy drive. It did have a Matrox Millennium video card, but I actually took that out and I replaced it with an ATI Rage Wonder, I believe it is. So I suppose first thing we can do is to take a look at this machine. Now each computer has a set of peripherals connected to it. In this case we've got some passive, some speakers which can either be active or passive. We have a Logitech internet keyboard which has volume up and down buttons, given that the speakers are in passive mode. We have just a bog standard HP scroll mouse, which is optical. Most of the machines have this, I must say, rather fetching RetroFest mouse mat. Nice. This machine also has a Microsoft Sidewinder joypad. I believe this is a USB version. Yes, it is. It would have to be, because the game port is populated with one of these quick shot for professional playing joysticks. I have one of these at home. I think I've never got it out of the box. I'm going to have to unbox it and plug it into something. Now, I did find with the Logitech keyboard that it will work with the Microsoft IntelliType drivers. So that was quite a relief to me, because I couldn't find the Logitech setpoint drivers. So let's see. As you can see, running Windows 98 2nd edition. So, booted up into the desktop, we've got RetroFest. There we go. So all of the desktops, all of the 9X desktops that will come up with welcome to RetroFest. This PC is for the sole use by Aberdeen Action on Disability, RetroFest and their service users. So this is something that I did when setting up the domain. So let's log on. I'm going to log on using my own profile. There we go. I've just basically got kind of a RetroFest setup on here. I mean, obviously this is my own profile, so I get access to a couple more things. So hopefully on this machine we can at least run a benchmark. So I think 3D Mark 99 would be quite appropriate for this. We can certainly run 3D Mark, new 3D Mark. So apparently this is a Rage Fury Pro, this graphics card. So ATI there needing anger management. So I'm just going to click the benchmark button and see what happens. I'm guessing there's stuff that might not run on here, but I don't know if this is Wipeout to 2097 or what, but it certainly looks like it. No, it isn't. It wouldn't be. It's a completely different interface. Game 2, first person. Certainly looks quite fun. Again, we're getting some really nice frame rates out of this system. I'm not going to show you the benchmarks on all the computers, but well, suffice it to say, I mean, oh dear. Suffice it to say, it. I mean, this is one of the slower machines. The slowest machine would be the Compaq Disc Pro at 100 megahertz, which I will tell you more about in a wee minute. But so yeah, I think I certainly don't think I need to show you every single benchmark, because right, okay, this is a synthetic CPU 3D speed, so I'm guessing oh yeah, it's performing the test now. Fill rate. Oh, look at that, that's bonny. Fill rate using multi-texturing. So far this system is making 3D Mark 99 look like something. It's playing with it. Is what it's doing. It's just playing with it. 3D Mark 2001 SE is actually, it is a lot more strenuous on the computer. I don't know why I don't know why 3D Mark 99 was the one that I chose on this. Probably because it is older systems, and even some Pentium 3 systems have struggled with 2001. So I thought 99. Anyway, I think what I will do is I will let this do what it's got to do, and then I'll come back with a benchmark score. Oh, now we're actually starting to get into let's try this PC. So yeah, as you can see, that was a beautiful slideshow that we just saw there. This one seems to be a wee bit less strenuous, but still very much a group of stills. Oh, here we go. We're starting to get more of a animation. 25 pixel polygons. So yeah, I think 3D Mark 99 might not be a bad way to go. Now we're starting to now we're actually starting to get some now we're actually starting to get some smooth frame rates again. 250 pixel polygons individual. Strips. So this is actually doing still doing really quite nicely. This machine was from 97. Okay, the video card has been updated, so I guess we are cheating here, but certainly at one time this would have been top shelf stuff, this machine. So we have 2,346 3D marks, 2,808 CPU 3D marks. So what I think I'll do with this machine is I think I'll do what my old IT teacher kept telling us to do as a class. I think I'll log on to Word and I think I'll put it as a wee table. So we have 6 to test. Whoopsie! I want to insert some columns. Oh, come on, please let me insert some columns. So let's just remake the table, shall we? Machine. And just to let you all know, I've got a Dell Latitude C610. I am currently in the process of making a video about that, but it needs some more work before it's RetroFest ready, as it were. So I just need to. There we go. So for because it's kind of nostalgia, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do what I always used to do with tables in Word 97. I always used to make them into something that looks a bit like this. So 3D marks. 2346, and CPU 3D marks 2808. You know what? I could probably do it. Actually plotting this in an Excel spreadsheet. So why not? Let's do that. There we go. I've realised that on the Desk Pro, it might not necessarily be the most possible to. I'll have to set it up as an Excel 5 spreadsheet. So then we can machine 3D marks, CPU 3D marks. I wonder if I can Excel, yeah, dancer. There we go. So what I'll do is I'll save that. I've just saved it as an Excel 97 spreadsheet. I'll save the Word document as well, because why not? So, we know that the system benches well, but how well does it actually game?
Welcome to Deathmatch Combat Training. Deathmatch is a sport in which you compete against other gun-wielding players in a fast-paced free-for-all. The object is to destroy all of the enemies by any means necessary. Every time you take an enemy out, you get a point called a frag in gaming mode. You can see your flag count on the left side of the screen. At the end of the game, the player with the most frags wins the match. Remember, if you accidentally blow yourself up or fall into lava, you will lose a frag. Let's learn some basics about moving around. A good deathmatch player is always moving because a moving target is harder to hit than a stationary one. The forward key moves you forward, but the backward key makes you backpedal. The left key causes you to strafe left, while the right key, you guessed it, strafes right. Strafing is also extremely important in deathmatch because it allows you to move from side to side without turning, losing sight or aim of your foe. Let's try strafing left and right now.
So this is a boring tutorial level, but it certainly does seem to game quite well, does this machine. So this is a Mesh. So what about the next machine? Well, this machine is actually perfectly set up for what we like to do. It's a Grampian Electronics machine. It's in a LAN party case. I'm guessing because of the carry handle. It has dual optical drives, CDRW, DVD, ROM drive. Unfortunately, the DVD drive is a bit broken. This machine is slightly upgraded over this one. I got these two machines first, actually, when I was setting up RetroFest back in 2012. And this machine, it has a Pentium 3, 450 megahertz. Because 128 megs of RAM. I think the Mesh had can't even mind whether it had 64 or 128. I was going to look that up. I can tell you that this machine has a Voodoo 3000 AGP with 16 megs of video RAM. Also has a zip drive, because I added it. Another, I think it's a 40 gig hard drive this time, if I'm not mistaken. This is connected to an NEC, I think it's a 17-inch monitor. Standard keyboard, kind of looks like keyboard that you would have got with the Medion machine in 2002. I know my mum's Medion came with a keyboard like this. Just got a standard wheeled scroll mouse, kind of looks like the same kind of OEM that makes HP's mice, and I think Compacts as well. We also have Microsoft Sidewinder joystick. I think it's the can't mind which this one is, but let me Sidewinder Force Feedback 2 joystick. Sorry about the camera work. On a USB port, and a Cytec P120 control pad on the game port. We also have these active speakers. These are quite highly sought after in the retro computer community. Mine have yellowed a bit. These particular ones are active. You can see the model number there. So, once again, I'm going to re-tripod the camera and we'll have a look at this computer. Now, this system has a Legend QDI motherboard in it. The Mesh has an Asus motherboard. Now, Legend QDI, part of what was Legend QDI, I think it was the Legend part, actually in later years became a little known Chinese company called Lenovo. You may or may not have heard of them. This system also runs Windows 98 2nd edition because it's the best and Disney favourite. This system has a Sound Blaster live sound card in it. And again we have RetroFest, we have the RetroFest desktop background. Anyway, what we have here is, yeah. So what would happen if I hit the cancel button and just logged in without doing anything? That's what would happen. Because on these machines I've actually made it so that there's nothing on the desktop, and nothing can run on the desktop. on these machines, unless you're actually logged in, and that's to stop people interfering with these machines, shall we say, touching them inappropriately. So I shall show you the RetroFest user profile. So if you actually come and take part in RetroFest, what kind of a desktop can you expect? Well, you get a short, stubby little start menu, but you'll get access to all the games that are on here. So you've got Diablo, Unreal, Grand Theft Auto, Rayman Gold, Kart Precision Racing, Need for Speed, Tony Hawk's, and FIFA, all the FIFA games, and PGA Golf, and the Windows games. So I think before we go into benchmarking on this machine, because I am actually logged into RetroFest, and I'm going to need to log into my profile to be able to run 3D Mark, well, not the least install it. I thought we'd have a look at how this system with its Voodoo 3000 can game. So as you can see, I have a selection of single and multiplayer games. So if people want to go head to head, they can. If people don't want to go head to head, they don't have to. Yeah, I find the controls on some of the FPS games a wee bit quirky, shall we say. So as you can see, it's as you can probably see, it's page down to look up and delete to look down. Probably best played with a joystick. I'm not sure. I know a lot of people like to remap the keys. But this is the furthest I've ever gotten in this game. Then again, I've never really played too much because, you know, I got this game in and didn't really have much time to actually play it. Plus, FPS there's only a certain few that I like, or that I really have time to play. Gotta be fast at them, and I'm just not really. So you can see, this system, I did actually have someone pass comment about this system, saying how good the frame rate was in the games they were playing. I can't remember if they were playing this or Unreal Tournament, but suffice it to say they did enjoy it. So this is what it looks like when you log on. Don't always get that, but just thought I'd show you the Windows NT log on script thing working away, because To me, that brings back nostalgia. Actually, for school computers, you know, the type of computers that they didn't like you gaming on. Whereas I've set these machines up so that they're locked down so that all you can really do is game. So take that, society. Well, that was a wee bit depressing. It's crashed. This machine has been acting a wee bit problematic, so I probably am going to need to do some testing and troubleshooting and maybe reinstall Windows. I know that I definitely need to get rid of the bottom optical drive and replace it with a better one. So that's something that I will do. So on with the next one. This machine was given to me by my former lecturer. It's the most powerful machine currently commissioned and in use at RetroFest. Has an Athlon 1.4 GHz, 512 megs of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce. I believe it's 4MX 440 with AGP. No, it could be a 2MX actually. I think it's a 2MX 400 with 64 megs of VRAM. And on board, Creative Labs Audio PCI 128. What Peripherals are connected to this machine? So we have these speakers connected, multimedia speaker system. And yeah, there you go. Got the original Time accessories, keyboard and mouse. It's a Microsoft mouse provided by Microsoft for Time. With a green scroll wheel and a Time logo. Originally came with ME. But I decided to go another way with this machine. Of course, because of course I did. Windows 98. What else would I have done? No, seriously, what else would I have done? One peripheral I forgot to tell you about is this joystick controller, and I'm not too happy with it because it doesn't work. So, how does this machine game? Well, let's see what we can do. Also, why is a lot of Microsoft games madness? You had Monster Truck Madness, Motocross Madness, Midtown Madness, Forza Madness. No, I'm kidding. Has detected a change in your game, video driver or installation. We must now test your hardware driver. First time I've actually ever tested this. It is a GeForce 2MX. Why is there two of them? There's only one? Help? I only have the one card. I didn't SLI my NVIDIA. You can't. Create new profile. Current profile RetroFest. Let's see. Let's start a new game. Start. Baja. New user information. To change your bike and a rider, choose a bike rider tab. Ooh, can have a Honda. KTM, Vector, Yamaha. Let's go for a Honda. And I love how the spike sounds like a bothersome fly. Yep, that works. Ah! See if I can launch myself off something. So, I suppose it's time to take a look at the benchmark. Well, this was probably predicted by pretty much everyone. This system has a very high benchmark score, well, given that it's 1.4 gigahertz. Much faster than any of the other machines. It has a 3D Mark score of 5,973 3D marks, with a CPU bench of 19,659 CPU 3D marks. Well, that's kind of nice. So I'm going to enter that into the document. And we'll move on to the next machine. So the next machine is this RM, which I managed to pick up last year from Cooter. It's, well, last year, 2 years ago. It has a Pentium 2 350 megahertz CPU with some RAM, and it also has ATI Rage graphics. The zip drive I added, it's got a 30 gig hard drive, it's got 64 megs of RAM, and it has a Sound Blaster Live value card in it. And this system, I've already run the 3D benchmark. It's got 1,261 3D marks with 378 CPU marks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to the list. And while we're at it, I want to check something. I certainly didn't want the Grampian Electronics machine to have a did not finish, because I like this machine. So I gave it another chance to run, and it was able to get 4,310 3D marks and 6,929 CPU 3D marks. So let's see if we can play and game on here. So this game is quite odd in that the caps lock, whoopsie, is the one that you want to accelerate. So it seems to run quite well. I mean, not that I can imagine this game needing too much, but it is 3D, unlike previous games in the Micro Machines series. So there you are. So then, on with the last machine. Now, what is this machine? Well, it's none other than my own Compact Desk Pro, believe it or not. Decided that this machine would be better placed serving RetroFest. So, that's what it's here to do. Am I going to miss having a Desk Pro at home? Yeah, terribly, if I'm honest. But like I said, it's better served here. Because we've needed a Pentium 1 base machine for a while, so we can play DOS games. Stuff like that. So, Peripherals connected to this machine. Peripherals. An Acer monitor, tiny one, AL511. I think it's a 14-incher. XGA display, but I've got it set to SVGA 800 by 600. Got the Logitech 5.1, well, 2.1 rather. Speakers connected to it for no other reason than they're available. We have a 1,000-year-old keyboard, and another basic HP optical mouse. We also have this controller. It's an InTouch, I think. Looks kind of like a Mega Drive controller that's done unspeakable things with a Super Nintendo controller and an N64 controller, and this is the result. But hey, it's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually load up something that was requested by a couple of people at RetroFest. So let's get that up now.
Imagine you are creating a fabric of human destiny.
Do not go gentle into that good night. We must never forsake that vision, that human dream, that unshakable faith. You may have the courage to live up.
Yes, Carta 96. Believe it or not, people have requested this, so I have provided. And it's because of this wee game here. Mind Maze. This was brilliant because you could hoodwink your parents into letting you play. Because it was educational. Okay, let's have a wee shot. Exercises that help to increase the cardiovascular fitness by improving the body's use of oxygen and allowing the heart to work less strenuously. Aerobics. Oh my. Military land forces of a nation assembled, drilled, disciplined, and equipped for offensive and defense in maneuvers and warfare. The army. So yeah, you've got to try and find your way through a maze by answering questions. But as you guys probably don't want to see the back of my head, we'll stop playing that game here, because I find it very difficult to see otherwise. However, what we can do is play another game on this machine, one which runs best on this make of machine. Yes, that's another game that has proved very popular on the PC. I think some of the most popular games that I've had on the PC have been Encarta, Worms and Rayman. So yeah, we've had quite PCs have been quite popular, especially this one in the RM. Actually, people like old games. What can I say? And there was a player that was doing quite well actually. So, there we go. Apparently, we had the one called and they did really well. I'll have to meet and congratulate him or her. So, as you can see, we've just got Rayman. It runs beautifully on here. It doesn't really need a lot to run, doesn't Rayman, being that it's a DOS game. obviously with a Windows front end. And that's how you do that. Oof. Yeah, you've got to be patient. 10 tings, please. And that's how you do that. Oof. So what's the specs of this Desk Pro then? Well, it's a 100 megahertz Pentium, compact QVision graphics with 2 megs of onboard video RAM, 4 gig CF card, CD burner, 1.44 meg flippity floppity drive, and Sound Blaster Vibra 16. The only issue is that the CD-ROM drive, I installed it at the bottom, which wasn't really a problem when this computer did not have a keyboard. It sat right in front of it. An error card. Ah, it's fine. So can a Pentium 100 actually 3D mark? Well, no it can't. This machine needs a DirectX 6 compatible 3D accelerator in order to work. This machine has no 3D accelerator, much less a DirectX 6 capable one, or one that's compatible with DirectX 6. So, yeah, whoopsie daisy. Oh well. So, going back to the benchmarks before we do end this video, I think I would like to plot a graph. So, here we are. We have some 3D mark values here. So, what are we learning? Well, we're learning that the RM, well, it has the lowest overall values. The CPU is marginally higher, but the 3D benchmark is quite a way down, actually. Sorry about the flickering here. So we're learning, we're seeing that. Naturally, the mesh, time is, it's, and I'm just continuing to move the camera just to try and stop the flickering. We're learning that the mesh is the time is way ahead in CPU, but not necessarily in graphics, because it's still only a GeForce 2MX card. Obviously, we've not got any benches for the Latitude C610 yet, and the Compact Desk Pro was unable to give us one. But the Grampian Electronics machine seems to be a nice all-rounder. And it, well, yeah, it just is. But there you go. So that's So we've been able to benchmark these systems and spec them up as well. So with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. So thank you all for watching, and please join me for my next one. Cheery bye.